Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to discuss about destructuring in JavaScript. So I have a file open in des.html and I open the same file in the browser as well, and I have attached a JS file des.js, and here we will write our code. So let's start. So first let's create an array. So let my array, my array is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have these values, and let's console.log it, console.log and my array. So you can see the array here. So normally you will get the values like this, and you will assign it to variables and then you can use it. But let's use destructuring. So let 1, 2 and 3, and what will we do is we will use the my array. So what it will do is it will take the elements from this my array. So 1, the first element here on this one, the second element on this one, and the third one on this one. So let's console.log it and you will see. So 1, you can see 1 here, the first element, and 2, then you can get the second element as well, and now the 3 as well. So that's how you can destructure an array and get the elements by names. Now what we can do is, what if we want 1 and 3 and we don't need the rest of the values? So let's say, let me remove this 2, and if we remove the 2 from here, so you will get the second element here which we don't want. We want the third element. So we will pass it like this. So we are getting the first element, then we are skipping the second element, and then we are getting the third element. So that's how you can get the one, the first and the third element, and skip the second and the rest of the elements. Now let's say if you want to get the first element separated and then return the rest of the array. So 1 and then the rest of the array. So let's say we will use, let's say values and values. So you will get only the second one. But if we use the spread operator, so dot dot dot, so you can get the rest of the values here. So 1, the first element, which is this one, and then you get the array through this one. So that's how you can get the elements. So let me show it to you in another way. So let's my array. So you can get the array here. But if I use the dot 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 operator, so now you will get all of the values here. And now let's say we have another array. So let alphabets is equal to A, B, C, D. So what can we do is, and this should be a string. So now if we want to combine these, so let's say you can use like my array dot concat and the elf, this one, and you can, let's store it in a result. So res and you can see arrays. So these two arrays are combined here. But let's say we want to do it like spread operator. So what we can do is array and my array and dot dot dot. So we are using the spread operator and the alphabets and the dot dot dot. So you can see you are combining the two arrays values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABCD. But if I remove these dots, the spread operator from here, so you can see arrays here. So you can see two arrays inside of an array. So one array, two array. So these are separate arrays. But if we use the spread operator, then you will see it is the same array. Okay. Now let's comment this and let's consider we have a student. So student and the student has a name, Sufan, and he has an age, so let's say 20, and he has an address, so let's say ABC and XYZ. Now let's console.log it. So student, and you can see the array. But what if you want to get these values through some other variables or some names? So you can use let student, so name and age and the address, and which will be equal to the student array. And now let's get these values, so name, and so you can get the name. Now we want to get the age as well, and let's say the address as well. So in this way you can destructure an array and get the values like this. We are getting the name, and we are getting the age, and we are getting the address. Okay. Now let's say we want to get the name and the address, and we don't need the age, so we can skip it and remove it from here. So now you will get the name and the address, and we are skipping this second element here, which is the age, is we don't need it. So now let's say we want to get the name and we can want to get the rest of the values. So we will use the spread operator as we have used. So dot 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 and the values and values, and you can see we get the name and then an array here. So that's how you can get the values. So one value separated and the rest of the array. Now let's create a function. So function and do math, and let's say we will pass two values here, so a and b, and we want to do some math here. So const sum equal to a plus b, and now let me duplicate it. So a minus b and a divided by b, and these will be equal to subtraction and division. Okay. Now if we return here, let's say return sum, and now let's call this method. So let the result is equal to do math, and let's pass two values here. So let's say 5 and 4 here, and now console.log it. So console.log res, and you can see the sum value. What if you want to get subtraction and division as well? So let's say sub. So you will see only the subtraction value, not the addition value. And if we write here division, and you will see the division value here, not these two values. So now for that we will need to return an array here. So now you can see we are returning all of the values from the method is an array. So what if we want to destructure it here? So destructure it. So let's say sum, subtraction, and then division. So sum, you can get sum value, and you can get the subtraction value, and you can get the division value as well. So in this way you can use destructuring. Now we can also pass this as an array and this one as well, and you will get the same result. And if you want to use less code, so what we can do is a plus b, a minus b, and a divided by b, and you can remove this as well, and you will get the same result. But let's say we need the whole method, so you can do it like this as well, and you will get the result. Okay, what if we need this sum separately and the rest of the array? So we will write here res and the spread operator, and here you can see we have 9 sum separated and the rest of the values is an array, which is through this spread operator here. So that's why we are getting the name separated and the rest of the elements is an array. Now let me comment this. Now let's do object destructuring. So let's say we have a student, so student, and the student has name, so Han, and he has an age, let's say 20, and he has an address, so let's say ABC XYZ, and now let's console.log it. So student, and you can see the object. Now let's say we want to destructure it, so let student, so as we are using the object, so object and name and age and address, and this will be equal to the student. And now let's get it. So name and age and address. So you can see all of the values from this student object, and you can change the order as well. So let's say I want to write here age and here name. So it will not make any difference, and you can get the same result because these are the named attributes, so named properties. So we are getting this by names. So let's say if I want to change this to names, so you will see undefined because names property is not here in the subject. So make sure this is equal to this property name. So let me change it again and you will see the name again. Okay. Now let's comment this and create a function. So function and do math, and I will copy the this from here and paste it here. And as we are using an object, so we will return our object instead of returning an array. And let's say A and B. And now let's call this method. So let result equal to do math and for, and now console.log it. So you can see the same results. Sum is 9, sub is 1, division is 1.25. So now let's destructure it. So we are using an object. So object and name as sum, subtraction, and then division. And let's console.log it now. So sum, and you can get sum, and then the subtraction, and then the subtraction, and then the division. So in this way you can use object destructuring. Now we can pass it as an object as well here. But we can do it here like this as we did it in array, because this will give us an error as object says names. So what we can do is, let's say we want A and B. So we can pass an object from here like this. Now you can see let numbers is equal to an object, and that object is A4 and B4. And now here you can pass the object, so you can get the same result, but you don't need to write this here because this is already an object. So this will be an object inside object, so it will give us an error. So you can pass it the object like this or like this, so your choice. But let's say we want to pass it like this, and now an object, this value can be optional as well. So let's say you want to pass A only. So here you can see we have an error, so not a number. because we don't have the second value. So this can be an optional as well. So let's say b is equal to 1, and now you can get the result here. So if you want to pass the optional parameter, you can pass it like this. So b is equal to 1, so 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. But if we pass the b value here, so now the result has changed because we are passing the value from here. Okay, and now let's say we want to get the sum separately in the rest of the values together. So dot values and values. So you can get the sum separately and the rest of the values is an object. So that's all about destructuring of arrays and objects in JavaScript. And see you in the next video.